Hello friends, welcome to Shankar IAS Academy Daily Newspaper Analysis. Today's date is 5/7/2024. Behind me are the list of articles that we are about to discuss today. So without much delay, let's get started. Look at this news article. In India, many states have enacted stringent anti-slaughter laws, and this has created challenges for the dairy farmers in disposing of unproductive cattle, such as those that do not give enough milk or male cattle. Additionally, the farmers and the dairies are now facing a new surplus problem with skimmed milk powder. So this problem of having surplus milk powder is being discussed in this article. As said in this article, India currently enjoys a surplus in milk production. But if you look at some 50 years ago, the country faced deficit in milk production. This dramatic transformation is largely credited to the success of White Revolution in India. So in our analysis, we shall discuss about India's White Revolution in brief. Let us start with some background. See, India's White Revolution is also called as Operation Flood, and this was a major movement that changed the dairy industry in India. It made India one of the largest milk producers in the world. The National Dairy Development Board started this revolution in 1970. Dr. Verghese Kurian, known as father of White Revolution, headed this movement. Now let us see what exactly were the achievements of this White Revolution. Let us see them one by one. The first biggest achievement is the dramatic increase in the milk production. From 21.2 million tons in 1969, the milk production in India increased to over 100 million tons by 2006, making a significant growth over the decades. Second one is self-sufficiency. See, the Operation Flood made India self-sufficient in milk production, reducing the country's dependence on imports and stabilizing milk availability across the nation. The third achievement is cooperative reach. The revolution established over 1,70,000 dairy cooperative society across the country. This involved millions of rural farmers in the milk production and distribution. Fourthly, the economic impact. See, the dairy sector became the major contributor to the rural economies, providing livelihood to millions of small-scale farmers and contributing significantly to India's agricultural GDP. As a result of White Revolution, India emerged as the largest milk-producing nation in the world, surpassing countries like United States and China. At present, India ranks first in the milk production, accounting for about 23% of global milk production. See, one more interesting thing to be noted here is that Dr. Verghese Kurian is the chairman and the founder of Amul, and he was named the chairman of the National Dairy Developmental Board by the then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. Dr. Verghese Kurian provided a visionary leadership and organizational support to the institutions like National Dairy Development Board and the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. He thereby played a crucial role in this revolution. This is why he is called as a father of White Revolution in India. With this basic understanding about the White Revolution, let us analyze the recent trend in India's milk production. See, the milk production has increased by about 51% in the past 8 years, reaching about 221 million tons in 2022. Now, the milk production is growing at an annual growth rate of 6.1% over the past 8 years, whereas world's milk production is growing at just 1.2% per annum. Also, the per capita milk availability in India is 444 grams per day, surpassing the world's average of 394 grams per day. We are able to achieve this much of success in milk production because of White Revolution. That is to be noted. Every year since 2001, June 1 is observed as a World Milk Day by the Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations to acknowledge the importance of milk as a global food and to celebrate the dairy sector. In India, the birthday of Dr. Verghese Kurian on November 26 is observed as a National Milk Day. To support farmers in improving the productivity of the live milch animals and to motivate the cooperatives and milk producers, the Government of India presents the prestigious National Gopal Ratna Award on the National Milk Day. Finally, let us see some important schemes related to dairy production in India. First one is the Rashtriya Gokul Mission. See, it aims to genetically improve the cattle population and to promote and conserve indigenous cattle breeds in India. The second one is National Program for the Dairy Development. It aims to strengthen the infrastructure for the production of high quality milk as well as for the procurement, processing and marketing of milk and milk products. The third one is Dairy Entrepreneurship Developmental Scheme. It aims to create self-employment opportunities in dairy sectors. See, these are some of the important schemes in this regard. This brings us to the end of this article. So, moving forward, let's see another topic for the discussion. Look at this article. The Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade has proposed the removal of angel tax, which could significantly benefit early stage startups and their investors. This is what the news is all about. So let us first understand what is angel tax. Then we shall see about why the removing is seen as a relief to the startups. So what is angel tax? See, to operate an early stage venture, every business needs funds, right? In this scenario, startups seek investment in the exchange of equity because they lack tangible assets to offer as collateral. When a startup struggles to establish itself in the market, an angel investor can invest money in it. These investors provide capital in return for ownership equity or convertible debt, offering crucial support during the startup's formative years. However, in India, when the total investment value invested by an angel investor exceeds the company's FMV or the fair market value, it is considered as an income to the startup and it is subjected to tax. This tax is only known as angel tax. The angel tax is laid as per the Income Tax Act of 1961, Section 56(2). Now, moving forward, let us see an example to understand the concept of angel tax holistically. See, suppose a firm receives investment from an angel investor of rupees 15 crore and the investor gets a share in exchange. But the total fair market valuation of the shares issued is rupees 10 crore. The remaining 5 crore is considered as excess money and therefore taxable at a rate of 30.9%, which is nothing but an angel tax. See, the primary objective of this tax was to prevent money laundering issues. Certain exceptions were brought in the angel tax in 2019 budget. The government stated that if the startup is registered under DPIIT or the Department for the Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade, it would not be subjected to such angel tax. However, to be eligible, the startup needs to send an application along with the necessary documents to the Central Board of Direct Taxes, and only after their approval, they will be exempted from paying angel tax. Along with that, there are certain other criteria, but for our exam, it is enough to know this much. Let's now see what are the drawbacks involved in the angel tax. Let's see them one by one. See, the angel tax is applicable to the startups that are funded by the resident Indian. This means that a startup earning an investment from a venture capital and a non-resident investor are not eligible for the deduction of angel tax. Only in 2023, non-resident investors were added with exemptions applicable from 2024 April. Secondly, the startups tend to lose a significant amount of money in the form of taxes, as angel tax requires them to share a significant part of investment. This is evident from a Startup India website, which indicates that 1,34,251 startups are currently registered with Department for the Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. Considering all these, the Department of Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade has proposed the removal of angel tax, while the final decision is rests with the Finance Ministry. This move has been positively received by the entrepreneurs and the investors alike. That's all about this topic. Let's now move on to the next topic for the discussion for this day. Look at this article. It discusses the recent trend in the political leaders in India showing increased reverence for the constitution. It is evident in the chant of Jai Samvidhan during the oath-taking ceremony of the 18th Lok Sabha. While the constitution mandates that the parliamentarians swear allegiance to it, there are concerns that this newfound respect may be more of a political gimmick than a genuine commitment to the constitutional duties. This is the crux of this article. In our discussion, let us discuss an important concept of constitutional morality. This is important for your mains. Let's start with the question. Constitutional morality is rooted in the Constitution itself and is founded on its essential facets. Explain the doctrine of constitutional morality with the help of relevant judicial decisions. See, this is an analytical question. In the first part, it asks us to explain in our words about the statement constitutional morality, which is rooted in the Constitution itself and it is founded on its essential facets. Then, we ought to explain about the doctrine and how judiciary played an important role in shaping it. This is going to be the skeleton of our answer. So, without much delay, let's start answering. In our intro, we can write like this. We all know morality refers to the principles and the values in life which shapes our action. Constitutional morality is an inherent philosophical concept that governs and guides the action of government and the citizen in line with the spirit of Constitution. Let us see an example. Article 17 abolishes untouchability and the value of fraternity in the preamble promotes brotherhood. As these are not only preventive mechanism to punish perpetuators of untouchability, they are philosophical values very interrelated to each other, which are to be professed and practiced by all the citizens. Ultimately, it will lead to a healthy social democracy as said by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This can be our intro. In our body part, let's write like this. See, the constitutional moral values are imbibed in the constitution in various parts of it. like firstly the preamble, which are often called as an ID card of our constitution. It lists various values like justice, liberty, equality and fraternity as a bedrock of India's democratic system. Moreover, it acts as a source for various social protection legislation reflecting the essence of the constitutional morality. Secondly, with respect to the fundamental rights. See, the fundamental rights is called the reservoir of morality as it covers the various cordial values like equality, liberty, etc. Also, the articles 14 to 32 serve as a shield protecting individuals from the arbitrary exercise of the state power. Nextly is the directive principles of state policy, which guides the states to implement the version of the makers of constitution. It has various stand of values like Gandhianism, socialism and liberal intellectualism. Finally, with the fundamental duties. It asks us to follow the middle path between enjoying rights and fulfilling certain duties towards the nation. Also, it aims to mold citizen to a moral being. This can be a first part of a body. In the second part, write about various judicial rulings in shaping this morality. In the famous Keshavananda Bharati case versus State of Kerala in 1973, Supreme Court gave a landmark judgment by introducing a most important terminology called a basic structure doctrine, which holds that a parliament cannot amend certain fundamental values of the constitution. From the philosophical perspective, this judgment gave a legitimacy to the values in the constitution and protects it from the whims and the fancies of the rulers of the day. Till today, it acts as a beacon of hope and guiding light in analyzing various legislations. Secondly, in Navtej Singh Johar vs Union of India case 2018, Supreme Court of India struck down the section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalizes consensual homosexual acts. The court applied the doctrine of constitutional morality, emphasizing the need to protect the rights of LGBTQ+ individuals and to prevent the discrimination based on sexual orientation. Moreover, it says that criminalizing homosexuality violates fundamental rights like equality, freedom of expression and right to life and personal liberty, which forms the core values of our constitution. Thirdly, in the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi vs Union of India 2018. See, this is a federal case which deals with the distribution of powers between Delhi government and the Union of India. Here also, the Supreme Court highlighted the importance of constitutional morality in federalism. It states that both the central and the state government should hold on to the constitutional values and the principle to ensure harmony and good governance in the country. Finally, the Sabarimala case. The Supreme Court said that the constitutional morality with the values like justice, liberty, equality and fraternity ought to be preferred over the customary values, traditions and beliefs. In saying so, the court allowed the entry of women into Sabarimala temple irrespective of their ages. See, this can be your body part of the answer. Now moving on to the conclusion, we can conclude like as follows. The constitutional morality plays a vital role in ensuring effectiveness of laws and upholding the fundamental values of the country. In its absence, the functioning of the constitution can be disrupted by the arbitrariness, thereby leading to a decline of institutions. Though courts are effective in upholding the constitutional morality, the determination should not solely rely on the courts in every case. Instead, it is a sentiment that should be nurtured and ingrained in the minds of citizens, institutions for a value-laden society. So that's all about this answer. With this, let's move on to our next topic of our discussion. Look at this article. The Union government is planning to unveil a framework to promote climate resilient agriculture in 50,000 villages located in climatically vulnerable districts. The initiative is a part of National Program on the Climate Resilient Agriculture, in which the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare plans to launch as a part of 100-day agenda. In this backdrop, let us understand what is climate resilient agriculture and climate smart village. First, we shall see about climate smart village. See, climate smart villages are the rural communities or the areas that adopt integrated approaches to enhance their resilience to climate change while promoting sustainable development and reducing greenhouse gas emission. It helps to reach internationally agreed goals like SDG and the Paris Agreement, and it is invariably linked with climate smart agriculture. Now let us see some of the examples of climate smart agriculture practices one by one. Firstly, cultivating climate resilient crop varieties. See, growing crops that are more resilient to temperature and precipitational changes, pests, diseases and salinity can help farmers cope with adverse effects of climate change on crop production. For instance, drought-tolerant maize varieties have been developed and disseminated in sub-Saharan Africa, benefiting millions of small landholding farmers. Secondly, conservation agriculture. No-till and reduce tillage cultivation, employing crop residues and crop cover to keep the soil covered, and rotating crops to enhance soil fertility and biodiversity are some of the practices that fall under conservation agriculture. These practices can reduce soil erosion, improve water retention, increase carbon sequestration, and lower greenhouse gas emission. Thirdly, agroforestry. Integrating trees and shrubs with crops and livestock can create more diverse and productive agricultural system that provide multiple benefits for farmers and the environment. Agroforestry can enhance soil quality, conserve water, and diversify income sources, provide fuel wood and fodder, and sequester carbon. Fourthly, the precision irrigation. See, the drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and collecting rainwater are all the examples of effective climate-smart agriculture strategies that can be used to minimize water use efficiency and reduce negative impacts on the environment. Precision irrigation can also be combined with sensors, drones, and satellite imagery to monitor soil moisture and the crop water needs in real time. Finally, the variable rate fertilization. Applying the right amount of fertilizer at the right time and place can optimize the crop yields and minimize the nutrient losses and greenhouse gas emission. Variable rate fertilization can be achieved by using soil testing, remote sensing, and precision agriculture technologies to tailor fertilizer application to the specific needs of each crop and field. See, these are certain examples of climate smart agriculture. So we can say that climate smart farming improves efficiency by optimizing the resource use, reducing wastage, and streamlining the process. It also cuts costs by minimizing inputs like fertilizers, pesticides compared to traditional methods. Additionally, it boosts production through enhanced crop quality, soil health, and optimized planting schedules, leading to higher yield and profitability. That's all about this topic. With this, let's move on to our next topic for the discussion of the day. Look at this article. It states that the Indian state-run oil companies like Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, and the Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited are in negotiations with Brazil's Petroleum, Brasileiro SA to secure a long-term crude oil supplies. This step is taken to diversify India's energy resource from the traditional suppliers like Russia and Brazil. This is the crux of the article given here. In this context, let us quickly go through India's petroleum production from prelims perspective. See, crude petroleum is a mixture of hydrocarbons in solid, liquid, and gaseous forms. It includes compounds from paraffin series, unsaturated hydrocarbons, and a small proportion of benzene group. Originating from organic materials, petroleum is found in sedimentary basins and is most commonly associated with anticline and fault traps in tertiary sedimentary rock formations. An effective oil reservoir must have porosity, permeability, and impermeable caprock to prevent oil dissipation. Some of India's significant oil fields include those in the northeastern regions like Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and Tripura, with notable fields such as Dijiboy and Naharkatia. In western India, onshore fields like in Rajasthan and Gujarat are the key producers, with major discoveries like Ankleshwar and Banner fields. In offshore, Mumbai High and Basin are significant with large reservoirs. Potential new exploration areas include Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and offshore regions like Gulf of Mannar and Bay of Bengal. While talking about petroleum, it is also very important to know about the difference between Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate. See, this is an often repeated area in UPSC prelims, so please listen carefully. See, Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate, that is WTI, are the two key benchmarks in the oil market, each serving different regions actually. Brent crude, sourced from the North Sea near Europe, is the benchmark for the oil markets in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. It's widely used with about 2/3 of the world's oil price against it. Its location near the sea makes the transportation cost lower. WTI, that is West Texas Intermediate, on the other hand, comes from US oil field and is the benchmark of the US oil market. It is slightly sweeter and lighter than the Brent, making it easier to refine into gasoline. Historically, the burnt crude oil has been often priced higher than the WTI, partly due to geopolitical issues affecting the global oil supply. However, advancement in oil drilling and fracturing in US have led to the increased production of WTI, making it cheaper than the burnt in the recent year. Both burnt and WTI are light and sweet, but burnt pricing is heavily influenced by OPEC, that is Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Companies, whereas WTI's pricing reflects US oil market dynamics. That's all about this topic. With this, let's move on to our next topic for the discussion of the day. Look at this article from Indian Express. It talks about how agriculture is the backbone of India, and it also talks about Indian agricultural status and how it has developed over time, and role of government, private sectors, NGO, and the role of new technologies in it. So let us see the state of agriculture holistically. See, the Indian subcontinent has a long history of agriculture that can be traced back to 8000 BCE. In that time, the first agricultural community emerged in Meghar, now in the modern Pakistan. Soon, other agrarian communities also emerged in the northwest part, but the peak of its development was the Harappan culture. Knowing this historical backdrop can be coming very handy in the prelims and the mains answer writing. Let us now move on to see the contemporary status of agriculture in India. First one is employment. See, according to the periodic labor force survey conducted by National Sample Survey Organization and the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has said that 45.76% of workforce is engaged in agriculture and allied sectors in 2022 and 2023, and in which the women comprises of about 33% of agricultural labor and 48% of them are self-employed farmers in India. And it is to be noted that 80% of the women in rural areas is depending on agriculture. Secondly, let's see about the productivity. According to World Bank, India is the second largest producer of rice, wheat, cotton, sugarcane and farmed fish, etc. Out of the total area, the nation has around 165 million hectares of the land under cultivation. But out of this, 67% is still rain-fed and remaining 33% is irrigated. Let's now move on to see about the minimum support price and the issues surrounding it. See, recently many states like UP, Punjab, Haryana and even some other states also has been protesting for legalization of MSP. With this backdrop, let us see what is MSP is all about. See, the practice of MSP, that is minimum support price, has started in the year 1969. This policy was to protect the farmers from the fluctuation of market prices. See, to calculate MSP, the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices will project three kinds of production cost for every crop, both at state and all India average levels. It includes A2 cost, which covers all paid out costs directly incurred by the farmers in cash and kind, like on seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, hired labors, etc. Then A2 plus FL cost. It includes A2 plus an included value of an unpaid family labor. Then the C2 cost. It is a more comprehensive cost that factors in the rental and the interest for the owned land and fixed capital assets, which is on the top of A2 plus FL. See here, CACP considers both A2 plus FL and C2 cost while recommending MSP, but CACP will recommend only A2 plus FL cost for return. However, C2 cost are used by CACP primarily as a benchmark reference cost to see if the MSP is recommended by them at least cover these costs in some of the major producing states. Before moving further, we have to also understand one more thing. See, if MSP is being legalized, one of the major concern has been it will bring a huge burden on the financial capacity of the government. It has been estimated that around 9 to 10 lakh crore additionally will be needed to support this policy. Moving forward, let's see some government policies supporting our agricultural sector. Recently, Government of India has taken efficient measures that promote agriculture, and it considers all aspects of this space and time like climate change and technological development. This includes PM Fasal Bima Yojana, which provides insurance backing for the farmers and the produce. Then the PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, which provides help for drip irrigation infrastructure, which will help in reducing the wastage of water and other resources. Apart from this, under PM Krishi Saman Nidhi Yojana, the farmers will receive up to 6,000 per year as a minimum support. At present, climate change is the biggest challenge for agriculture sector. Therefore, it is very evident from the recent scheme that the government is transforming the agriculture into smart agriculture, which gives more importance to genetically modified crops and use of technology in the field, especially for irrigation. The recent growth of agri-tech companies can be considered as a prominent development, which ensures a better promising food security, but at the same time, government intervention for the farmer welfare is essential. So that's all about this topic. Let's now move on to our next topic for the discussion. Look at this article from the Indian Express. It talks about the recent governmental decision of discontinuing the publication of detailed GST data. See, this is problematic because this data provides timely insights into the state of economy and helps to assess whether the government is meeting its revenue and fiscal deficit targets. This decision follows the previous controversies around data transparency. The government has made some efforts to improve data transparency, but maintaining regular release of detailed GST data and conducting a detailed census are crucial for informed policy making. See, this is the crux of this article given here. In our discussion, we are going to see about GST and the basics from the prelims perspective. Firstly, let's see what is Goods and Service Tax, also known as GST. See, GST is a landmark reform in India's taxation system. It aims to streamline and unify the hitherto multiple indirect tax structure. Know that GST was introduced by the GST Act of 2016, which came as a result of 101 constitutional amendment, but it is being implemented since July 1, 2017. This reform has provision like this. Firstly, the central GST, which is collected by the central government. It replaces central excise duty, service tax, central sales tax, excise duty and additional excise duty, countervailing duty. Secondly, the state GST, which is collected by the state government. Know that it subsumed the following taxes like the luxury tax, state sales tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, levies on lottery, etc. Thirdly, the integrated GST or IGST. It is charged when there is a movement of goods from one state to another state. Know that the revenue will be collected by the central government. Moreover, this will be shared between the union and the states in a manner prescribed by the Parliament or GST Council. Now, let us see some of the exceptions under GST Act. There are various petroleum products, tobacco products, excise duty on liquor, stamp duty and electricity taxes are exempted from the radar of GST. Moving forward, let us see various tax slabs in GST. See, the introduction of GST was a very significant step in the field of indirect taxation in India, as it replaced about 17 indirect taxes. These indirect taxes were consolidated into a single GST, but different slabs like 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28% based on the type of goods and services. Now let us see about GST Council in brief. See, the GST Council is actually a constitutional body responsible for making recommendations to the union and the state government on various issues related to GST tax. See, the GST Council was constituted under the Article 279A of the Constitution of India. It will be chaired by Union Finance Minister and consist of Union Ministers of State for Revenue or Finance and the Minister in charge of Finance or Taxation from each state. Know that it is a joint forum where centre and state governments come together to make decisions on GST related matters. Now let us see the functions of GST Council in brief. See, the primary function of GST Council is to recommend tax rates, exemptions, threshold limits related to GST to the states and union governments. Moreover, it also makes decision on the division of tax revenue between the centre and the state government, administrative arrangements and the dispute resolution mechanisms, etc. Secondly, with respect to decision making, see, the decisions are taken by 3/4 majority of the weighted votes of the members present and voting. Of this, the central government vote has 1/3 of the total vote cast, and the votes of all the state governments together have 2/3 weightage. So this brings us to the end of the today's newspaper discussion. Let's now move on to the next section, that is prelims practice questions. Look at our first question. Which of the following are the key objectives of climate smart agriculture? Statement 1. Enhancing agriculture productivity and incomes. Statement 2. Adapting to the climate change and reducing greenhouse gas emission. Statement 3. Promoting monocultural farming for increased efficiency. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only. See, the correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only, because the third statement is incorrect, because it is not meant to promote monoculturing. Let's move on to the next question. Look at this question. Which of the following characteristics makes a crude oil suitable for refining into various petroleum products? High viscosity and density, wide range of boiling points, presence of sulfur compounds. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. Because wide range of boiling point is not necessarily a characteristic that makes crude oil suitable for refining into various petroleum products. Instead, this wide range of boiling point is a feature of the components obtained after refining crude oil. Other than this statement, statement 1 and 3 are correct, because it requires high viscosity and density and the presence of sulfur compounds. With this, let's move on to the third question. Consider the following statements regarding Department for the Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. Statement 1. DPIIT is responsible for formulating and implementing promotional and developmental measures for the growth of industrial sectors, including foreign direct investment policy. Statement 2. DPIIT was initially established as a Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion before being renamed in 2019. Statement 3. The DPIIT oversees the implementation of Startup India initiative, which aims to foster innovation and support the creation of startup across India. Statement 4. DPIIT exclusively handles policies related to intellectual property rights in India. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, 1, 2 and 3. Option B, 1, 3 and 4. Option C, 2 and 4 only. Option D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is 1, 2 and 3 only. See, the statement 4 is incorrect because while DPIIT handles several policies related to IPR, it does not exclusively handle all policies related to IPR in India. Other departments and agencies are also involved in the formulation and the enforcement of IPR policy. Let's now move on to our fourth question. Which of the following products are outside the purview of GST? Alcohol for human consumption, electricity and medicines. Choose the correct options. A. 1 only, B. 1 and 3, C. 2 and 3, D. 1 and 2. The correct answer is option D, 1 and 2. That is, alcohol for human consumption and electricity are the products that are outside the GST. That's all for today's discussion. Behind me is the today's mains practice question. Interested candidates can write it in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit like, share and subscribe. Thank you.